Only 56% of the Malaysian workforce is covered by the Employees Provident Fund (EPF) and the Public Service Pension Scheme, a figure lower than the global average of 68%. Economist Professor Geoffrey Williams explores potential solutions to enhance the protection of workers in the informal sector.
Obvious one is social protection. Obviously, you might think that they would need medical insurance, for example, or pension cover, or when they're not in work, perhaps some ways of looking after their income, that type of social protection. But another form of protection that they need is the enforcement of their contracts. So if you're doing a gig with somebody and you're a freelancer and they don't pay you, how can you go and get a remedy for that to make sure that you're actually paid by your client effectively, quickly, on time, and according to what they promised? So there were two types of things. We often focus on the social protection, particularly absence of contributions to pensions. Many of them are not part of EPF. For example, they don't have any formal pension. But then we also need to look at them as being entrepreneurs and private, they're involved in private enterprises.
However, Geoffrey also warned against excessive government interference with the gig economy.
What's important to understand about the gig economy is that the reason it exists and the reason that it thrives, the reason that it's successful, is because there isn't government intervention and there isn't too much regulation. And if the government starts to go in and regulate and force people in those sectors to start making statutory contributions, for example, mandatory contributions, then a number of things will happen. Firstly, their income is probably not sufficient for them to be making meaningful contributions. That's number one. Second, their income isn't stable. They will get a lot of income sometimes, and then other times they won't be working, then they'll get some income, and so they don't have that stability of income, so therefore their contributions can't be stable. So what they need, and what we need more generally, not just for people in the gig economy, but for people also in formal employment, is a non-contributory pension system, a universal basic pension system, where there will be a minimum amount of money that is provided from the government or from a government fund to help people whether or not you have made these contributions. And if you have such a scheme, then people in the gig economy will benefit just as much as people in the formal economy.